Welcome to Bisnomics, your weekend's most profitable 60 minutes. I'm Tharandu Amarasekara. Today, our focus will be on the world of art. Now, when one thinks of art and the Sri Lankan heritage of it, one could not forget the frescoes of Sigiriya. But centuries later, where is our art industry? In a modern time, while scores of people line up at the Louvre Museum to take a glimpse of the work of Da Vinci, and while in the Netherlands we could hear the raving reviews for the work of Van Gogh and even Rembrandt, what has happened to Sri Lankan artists? Where are we in the global stage of art? This is worldwide an industry worth more than $50 billion despite the impact of the pandemic. Where do we fit in? Let's talk about this and more with our special guest today, who is none other than Chathuranga Biyagama, the Managing Director and the Curator of Gallery FourLife. Chathuranga, welcome to Bisnomics. Absolute pleasure to have you. Let's paint a picture about the art industry in the minds of our viewers today.
Thank you, Charindu. Thanks for inviting me.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Chathuranga, first of all, your journey into the world of art has also not been a very common one.
Yes.
Share with us that, and then we can get going.
My journey, this started during my schooling at St. Joseph's, Colombo, 10. I did my first solo exhibition in 1999 while I was in grade 12. So that was my first exhibition held in the National Art Gallery. Then as a child artist, I got several awards. Nippon Child Art Competition and Sri Lanka Child Art Foundation Competition and all. Once I completed my A-levels, when I became an 18 plus, I applied for State Art Awards and I received that award in 2002. In 2003, I got the opportunity to represent Sri Lanka in 11th Asian Art Biennale held in Dhaka. So that time I was just 19. After that, I had to leave the country for my higher education, which was basically not art. My streams are strategic marketing and law.
An extreme. An extreme. So you have
Yes.
art on one side and another extreme
Yes.
of areas on the other side. Very interesting.
So at the beginning, art was more like a passion. After completing my studies, I came back to Sri Lanka and I joined with corporates. So I was in the corporate field, banking and finance field nearly for 14 years while I was practicing art as a hobby. So while
So you never gave it up.
I didn't give it up. So while working in the corporates, again, I wanted to pursue my art career in a standard way. So I applied for a lot of foreign competitions and awards. In 2014, I got my most recognized award from Taiwan. So they had artists categorized competition in 2014. After that, again, 2014, I represented Sri Lanka in the 16th Asian Art Biennale. 2016 again I represented Sri Lanka in the 17th Asian Art Biennale, and 2018 again I represented Sri Lanka in the 18th Asian Art Biennale. So while working in the corporates and doing this thing, I saw what is the global art scene practically. So I built up my network and I got to know a lot of global potential artists and the galleries. And then I saw...
You saw the world of art basically.
I saw the world of art, and then I saw what has happened to our country. So likewise, I wanted to create a platform developing my art as well as supporting Sri Lankan artists. In 2017, I got an opportunity to participate in Amsterdam International Art Exhibition. So which is basically they are allowing galleries to represent. So that time I did not have a gallery in Sri Lanka, a proper gallery to guide me and to represent me there. So I had to create my own gallery. So in 2017, I registered this as a business. At that time, it was just a concept. And we got the opportunity to represent Sri Lankan art in the Amsterdam International Art Exhibition.
So Chaturanga, the role of an art gallery is not just to display the art, but it's
Not
also
just.
to guide and mentor the young artists. That's what you're saying.
Yes. So this is in the form of art field. There's lack of knowledge in the Sri Lankan society. We mislead. Sometimes we misdescribe the terms, especially gallery. Gallery is not a display showroom. It is basically the platform where you take local art to the global art scene.
Understood. Now, let's talk about the business angle of art here. because we see a lot of talented people in Sri Lanka, but a lot of them say, look, when I had to start earning money to make a living, I had to give up my art and I had to go and get a desk job. But you're one example of somebody who, while doing a corporate job, you also continued your passion, and now today you have shifted to it full time. Now, what's the business angle of art? And if you look at the value chain, just like a clothing store would have a value chain, get the textile, make the clothes, and you put the finished output. I believe even for art, there is a value chain involved. Yeah. And what's that value chain? And especially in Sri Lanka, what challenges does the art value chain face?
Tushar, if you take the global art scene, in 2019 it is 64.4 billion US dollars, and 2020 it's 50.1 billion US dollars
Due to the pandemic.
And in the global art scene, the total, this 50 billion, USA holds 42%, United Kingdom holds 20%, China holds 20%, and France holds 6%. Then Switzerland, Germany, and Spain, they hold 5%. Rest of the world holds only 7%. So we belong to the rest of the world. So basically it's
You're
like
a small fish in a small pond.
Yes. 93% of the global art revenue belongs to 7 countries in the world.
Highly concentrated.
Yes. So there's a huge potential. So if we can see, these are developed countries as well as they are focusing on these aesthetics. So that is lack in the country. If you take in my scene, so I understand people need to make art, artists need to create art, and they need to make a living. But you have to do something innovative, and you have to have the passion. So there might be a lot of artists in the country, but we see very few people who have the guts and the passion to take a step. So that is there. And if we take arts, so this is not only painting and sculpture, there are other avenues, revenues,
Correct.
and paths. So we have interior design, architecture, graphic designing, fashion designing. So likewise, there are lots of avenues. So this is a revenue generating module. So sad we have not understand that. We are not practicing it. We are not utilizing it.
Do you think that we are not being professional enough, that our artists don't always take this as a profession? Because probably a lot of people in the outside are saying, look, you can't make a living out of an art, see so many people are struggling, forget it. Do you think that kind of a negative message is being communicated to some of the artists?
I strongly believe to development of a certain industry, we should have icons and role models. So if we take music industry,
You have plenty of icons
yes,
here.
it twisted in beginning of 2000s. So normally various digital new bands and icons came, they become successful. Now everyone's looking at the music industry as a very successful industry. But when it comes to this art scene, still we don't have much more that type of strong role models and icons in the field of art to show the successness of this thing. So normally the common society, they measure the success in a different angle.
Wrong yardstick.
Wrong yardsticks. And the education system and the society. So I see we don't have much of art culture in Sri Lanka. But I mean art culture, the society has a better knowledge and understanding about this stream. If we take in the education system, in our schools, we were never taught by our teachers or our principals, you can concentrate on art and you can make a better living.
It is always that additional extra subject.
It is more like a hobby.
Understood.
Extracurricular activity.
Correct.
But we were not guided that you can make a better living through that. So this is my all struggle about.
Understood. And I think you had some very valid points to share there.
Yes.
Chathuranga, we are going to come back to you on that. Stay tuned. We will be back after this short break. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics. Now, our focus today is regarding the art sector of Sri Lanka. Where do we stand? What are the barriers our artists are facing? And what is the business angle to this? And we are in conversation with Chathuranga Biyagama. Chathuranga, now, I think you clearly explained some of the societal challenges that artists are facing today. If you look at, once again, coming back to my question, in terms of a value chain, let's say for a gallery, they need to source the art, which means they need to connect with the artist. And then they also need to connect with the customer. what is that exact role that the gallery will fulfill in the art industry of a country?
Actually, the galleries run a major role in the art industry, not even in the country, in the global art scene. Number one are galleries, then come the art auctions, auction house, online selling platforms, and art buyers. This is how the global art structure has been created. So in a gallery is not just a display house. It's not a showroom. There are a lot of this is where the lack of knowledge with the artists in the Sri Lankan society, which I have seen, I don't see they are much more utilizing the galleries in the country, because even in the world art scene, an artist cannot tap the world without a gallery. That happened even to Van Gogh. He clashed with the galleries during that time in the Europe, and he was unable to sell a single painting during his lifetime. So that is still there, because galleries create a platform. They groom the artists. They promote the artists to the upmarket client, because this is a very niche product. So this is not a common need, or
Not something which you pick off the
yes,
supermarket shelf.
yes. And even you can't sell art every day, every month. So you have to place it in the proper way. You have to present it to the proper forums. And the artist profile, the gallery needs to groom the artist. Sometimes artists are lack of other knowledge. They have presentation skills, personality issues. So
Maybe
like,
their own PR for
yes,
that
they are
matter.
PR. So gallery is looking after all these things. And in the modern era, these galleries are maintaining various digital platforms and social media platforms. So these are tools. So it is quite strong marketing of their work through a gallery than an individual artist trying to get it done.
Chaturanga, what my understanding is
Yes.
from what you are saying is the artist sticks to the artistic work while the gallery looks after the business side.
Exactly, because I strongly believe you have to do a creation without the money mind. An artist should give their full capacity to their creativity and to their imagination. Money and the management part comes to the gallery or the platform.
Very good demarcation there. Let's talk about the Sri Lankan art talent. Now, Chaturanga, I was never a good artist, I'll be very honest. Tried learning it, but later on I shifted to English literature, and that was more like my thing, languages. But I respect art, because I know, for once, I can't do it. Number two, I also know the effort that is taken, and I see the effort that some of my friends had to take to create that fine art which they were into. Now, if you take a little stroll down the famous art street of Sri Lanka, which we both know, that road between the National Art Gallery and the Vihara Mahadevi Park, full of talent, very talented individuals, beautiful painting, and you could see, you can sense and feel the effort that has gone into those paintings. But if you look at the pricing, and when you compare it with some of the other paintings which are available in some of the galleries, and these people, it's like peanuts, to be very honest. And at the same time, we know that those people are struggling. They're struggling to sell a paint. They might even say this is this price, but we'll give it to you at this rate. They need not be at that level. They're so talented. Very talented artists, but struggling to make a living. What's the missing factor here, Chaturanga?
Yes. If you take street art, even in my previous example, I mentioned 7 countries who hold. Every tourism-based country has street art location. That is common in the world art scene.
Even in a city like Venice, for that matter, you get so many street arts, but they are selling their arts for very high prices.
Yes, but in the Sri Lankan society and the context, we have not understand what is the gallery role and what is the street art role. Street art is not the beginning platform for any artist. It's just a choice. So there are certain issues in Sri Lankan street art. Number one thing, the quality of the work, whether they are original imaginations or replicas. So that is really important. And the artist standard, their technical skills, and the artist profile. This is very what you call, our society does not understand the artist profile. In the art world, a painting not only sell by its creativity, it is supported by the artist profile.
It all adds up to the story.
Yes. So every artist's responsibility is to build up his profile, his career. In any way, you don't need to have a university degree to build up the profile, but you have to work, you had to have proper PR, and you had to line up your work in a certain way. So that is how
A sense of branding as well, isn't
branding,
it?
the name.
Yes, Chaturanga, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see a painting that is getting sold for like 2,000-3,000 rupees.
Yes.
Beautiful scenery.
Yes.
But you also hear about a painting that gets sold for a couple of millions,
Yes.
millions of dollars.
Yes.
And it's just a white canvas with a red dot or red
Yes.
square.
Yes.
And you're wondering, why would anybody pay $1 million for this? But then somebody will say, no, it was done by this artist. This is the story. This is the message they are trying to say. And end of the day, that all builds up to the art.
In the world art scene, arts are not just decorative items. Paintings are not just for decor. It's a global investment sector as well.
Correct.
So the rich people, the niche market, they not only just purchase decorative items, they invest their money. When they are investing, there should be a return of value for their money. So that is where the artist profile strongly comes. Sometimes it might be just a red dot on a canvas, but the artist profile might be so strong. His signature worth millions and billions. So any buyer who has that type of painting can resell it at any art auction in the world, and he can double his investment. So that is how this happened.
Understood. Now, as I was asking you earlier, what does it take for Sri Lanka to carve its image in the world of art? Is it that we need to get our education right? For example, if you look at even today, those who do arts for A-level, they are facing a dilemma. We have to admit. I mean, if you do commerce or maths for A-level, you have a certain path to take. But art students often have an issue, especially if they don't get selected to university. Then what? What's their plan? And even within the university system, I think there's a big contrast between our aesthetics sections of universities and the world. Chaturanga, I want to share a story with you. Many years ago, I visited Zurich in Switzerland. And for something, the tram was going on the normal track. And one of the stops was the Arts University in the center of Zurich. Beautiful to see. Outside, you get performing artists doing various performances, some of the students doing various arts. It's so nice to be there. Now, when you compare that with the Sri Lankan context, I believe we have some problems that need to be addressed. But I'll come back to my question once again. For Sri Lanka to carve out its image in the world of art, what do we need to do?
Same as the music industry. So we have a fully government-funded visual art university in Sri Lanka, even materials provided. In the other end, we don't have much more internationally recognized artists in this country. So this is a big opportunity, the university, fully funded. We have to see whether it is being properly utilized. Does the visual art university looks like the visual art university, as you said? Are these children utilizing? Do these children has a scope? I'm going to become a world famous artist. No, because government has another option. Once they are passing out from the university, they can apply for government teaching jobs. So
that kind of culls their career as an artist.
So we have a negative mentality from the schooling period and during the university period. You can't make a living through art. So we have to change that mentality. So that is where I work in several avenues, creating an art culture and educating the society the value of this and how we are going to convert this into a revenue generation stream. So it is not only about painting or sculpting. There are lots of new avenues, new paths, digital medias. So what I see is we are not utilizing those things. The world is fastly moving. So once you take art, motor vehicle designing, aircraft designing also comes into this field, fashion designing and other aspects of these new eras. But how strong we are utilizing them. I don't know whether the syllabus of the Visual Art University has been upgraded according to the world art scene. Now this is all digitalized. We need management skills, marketing skills for this. And the Visual Art University students need to be educated about the role of the galleries and the other platforms. How we are going to then, now we see it is happening in the other universities, especially management universities. If you take engineering and all, they've been taught how to utilize their skill with the outside corporates and with the outside companies. Same as here, these children need to be taught that. So being an artist is not just drawing something or carving something. There are other set of skills they need to groom up.
And as you said earlier, you needed the skill to use the paintbrush on a canvas.
Yes.
Whereas now it's about how good you are maybe with the stylus
Yes.
on a digital tab or a digital pad.
Yes.
Chathuranga, now, if you look at why so many countries are getting into art, now you mentioned that about one very important example. You, of course, you mentioned a lot of developed countries about France and Netherlands and USA and the UK. But if you look at China, now, not only art, research shows that China is around the world exporting their ballet culture, their own ballet performances. They are trying to get more and more people of the world to come and see. Isn't it a case of trying to use art as a way of building the soft power around the world? Because if you look at the Americans, the fact that from our small days we've been watching so many top movies which are of Hollywood production, that has created a superpower image of USA around the world. And China also, by exporting their culture, and art is an important part of the culture, is it not a case that they are trying to build up their soft power around the world and become a nation that the rest of the world looks up to?
Yes. If you take Sri Lanka, we always promote our country as an agricultural country and a country with a huge heritage which goes more than 2,500 years. So we are talking that we have traditional arts, creativity, heritage.
Chathuranga, I think being stuck in the past is an unfortunate problem across all sectors of this country, in my opinion.
Yes, but how strong we are utilizing them. There are technically advanced countries and some countries naturally gifted with the natural resources. So we have our own thing to promote ourselves in the global scene. But rather than focusing that, we are focusing on creating technical lens, technical gadgets, robots, very other high-end aspects, which you need to invest billions of money. But we have these things, our traditional art, our handicraft. These things are unique in the global scene. Countries which does not have a lengthier heritage than us, now they have come forward. And countries like China, who have a lot of cultural values, now they are strongly promoting these things. This is where as a nation we have to focus. We have our traditional things. So why can't we utilize these aesthetic skills and to convert them into revenue generation? We can promote them. So that is lack here.
Even if you take countries like Thailand, some of their top tourism attractions are like a cultural show, where you have hundreds of tourists going to see the story and the journey of Thailand. Now, Sri Lanka probably has an even greater and a richer heritage and a culture, but where are we promoting it is a question.
I can give you an example. So I introduce artist exchange programs to Sri Lankan art scene, which means I used to bring down top 10 artists from foreign countries. I collaborate them with the local selected artists. We do a show for like 1 week or 2 weeks. After that, we take the show to the relevant country. So in 2019, we did the same project with Indonesian famous 5 artists. They are master artists. So we brought them down here. We mixed them with young 6 Sri Lankan artists, and we did a 1 week lengthier show in Lionel Wen. Then I saw how Indonesian embassy got involved in the project. They came here. They started promoting their tourism attraction publications, leaflets, brochures in the show.
It's an excellent gateway to promoting the country.
And they were promoting their country in this show. So same show we took to Bali for 1 week's time. I didn't see that thing happening from our end. So that time I was thinking, we are a tourism-based country. We have lot of cultural places and things, foreigners, where we can promote to foreigners. But I see certain gaps there.
Do you think we have unfortunately neglected this industry as a country, as a whole?
Yes, because it happens from our education system. So strongly, because I have not studied art. In my school also, I have not focused art. I was focused on money-making subjects. So during our school time, our teachers, parents, everyone want their children to become accountants, lawyers, engineers, doctors, or either join with a corporate. No one encourages children to become a dancer, actor, a painter, sculptor. We don't even think about that.
Correct.
So, but now the world has been changed. So now we have to adapt these things to our education system. We should have a proper system educating even the teachers, the principals. From the young stage, we have to educate our generations the value of these things. This is not just a hobby. This is not just a playful thing. You can make this a profession, as a career.
Yeah.
So we have to start from there.
Understood. I think that's a very valid point. As you said, the education system encouraging diverse talent, diverse, I would say, unique talent of our students, encourage it to take it up, take it to the next level. Now, Chathuranga, let's talk about government policy. In your view, do we have a proper government policy to encourage and develop the arts industry of Sri Lanka? And if not, what kind of things should be there and considered in such a government policy?
In my personal point of view, I strongly believe in a developing country like this, in Sri Lanka, in South Asia, we should not wait for the government to start an industry or to develop an industry. Someone has to come up and take the lead. And then I know the government will support. In Sri Lanka, because we are facing huge issues and we are not a profitable country. But apart from that, we have a fully government funded visual art university in the country. That is an asset. We have a Ministry for Cultural Affairs. We have National Crafts Council. We have Apegama. We have Laksala. So these platforms are there. But how efficiently we are utilizing these things? We have vocational training centers for handicrafts. Do we have children to come up and take a training there?
Or are the children busy getting left out of school and
Yes.
then going and riding a tuk-tuk?
Yes. So the major issue, we have to adapt this to our education system and we have to start making the brains. This is also a sector where you can make a living. You can make a lot of money. This is very creative sector. So in our education system, in our education streams, we very strongly push our children into corporate things.
Yep.
So that is what we believe. We have not seen this. So we have to start from there. And government policy wise, so we have platforms built up from the government. Sad to say, we are not fully utilizing them.
Such as what?
Such as means we have National Crafts Council, where to groom handicraft talented people, creating them a platform, selling platform, and to bring them to the upmarket. But the thing is, organization is there, resources are there, but we have lack of people who are interested in getting into this subject. Now we don't have people to continue our traditional handicraft sectors. So that is there.
Those are dying, basically.
Those are dying. Those are
So
dying.
what you have is like the last of the Mohicans right now.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So we have to promote these things. We have to educate the society. We have to show them. And we have to market them. And this is a tourism-based country. So rather than earning money from service providing industries, we can promote these things in the proper way. And we can utilize our global wise, our embassies and high commissions around the world to promote these Sri Lankan art talents. So we can create a very easy platform because the whole world knows about our country because of the seas, tea, tourism and the heritage and the culture, where we can promote it.
The setup is there. We just need to take up the action and get it done.
Exactly.
Some very interesting points
Yes,
there,
but
Chathuranga.
the major issue is, even though the artists and the majority, they are waiting for the government to come up and push them, and government has created the platforms.
Yeah.
So
it's up to these
it's
parties to go and make use of it.
utilized.
We
If
are
you-
going to come back to you
yeah.
more on that, Chaturanga. If you are a young budding artist, how do you take the leap from just being an artist to being an entrepreneur? Let's talk about that on the other side of this short break. This is Bisnomics. Welcome back to Bisnomics. We are in conversation with Chathuranga Biyagama regarding the art sector of Sri Lanka and where we fit in the world of art globally. Chaturanga, now for any young budding artist who is watching this show, who is thinking, oh, okay, look, you know what, I have the talent, I know how to do painting, I can do art, but how do I make it a business? In other words, a very important word you mentioned, don't just be an artist, be an entrepreneur. Who is an entrepreneur and how can a young talented artist take that leap? Explain to us.
Yeah, the entrepreneurship, this is like we are converting aesthetic skills and talents into revenue generation modes in either way. So in the modern era, it's not just you are painting something and selling the paint. You can make prints. From the prints, you can print T-shirts. You can make coffee mugs. You can make souvenirs. There are lots of
Like merchandise, what we call.
merchandising. So we have applied that to this thing. And other very creative parts, you have to come up with your own innovative idea. So for example, if you take digital animation, it's also a form of art. So if someone thinks it in a creative way, he can convert it into an industry. So what I say to the youngsters, the major issue I see in Sri Lankan art scene and even the street art scene, everyone's creating something subject to making money, based on the money value. So those days, the proper artists, they never thought about money. They focus on the creation. That is why where the value comes out. Even if you take the world art scene, none of the artists create something new, some innovative thing. They never think about money. They never worry about the revenue generation mode, how much money I'm going to make from this. Once you focus on your creation, and if you are really talented and if you are really passionate, automatically money comes to you. Because now we are in the digital era. You can do a painting, you can put the photograph in the social media, Instagram or Facebook or whatever. Then you automatically link up with the relevant people. So the major issue is money comes first, not the creativity. So it should happen in the other way.
And so that's one aspect to it. And
Yes.
let's say becoming an entrepreneur, you said it's beyond just painting.
Yes.
What are the other factors that need to be brought?
Yes, the major thing, whether there's an issue still, do we have an art industry in the country?
Big question.
Big question. Is this an industry? So how it becomes an industry? So normally having bunch of artists or having practicing artists does not make this an industry. So we should have platforms. We have galleries. We have bodies which promote artists. How artists are utilizing these things. How they are cooperating with these platforms. So, and what these platforms are doing to take Sri Lankan art to the global art scene and branding. For example, sometimes an artist can tap the world without having a gallery, if he is really good in marketing and branding himself. So the lack of knowledge for this, that is where you need the gallery support. Branding is really important, not like those days. Say similar
Competition is very high today.
competition is very high, and the global art scene has passed us in miles. So now they are always updating and upgrading. They are using various different techniques. Their reading is high. Especially you cannot become an artist without reading and without having proper references.
And I believe what you're saying is that you need continuous development, like you need to
It
continue
is
to
a
read.
never-ending learning process.
Understood. Chaturanga, when you said that the world art stage, the world art scenario has passed us by miles, I find that to be very saddening because today when you look back at the Sigiriya paintings, the frescoes, those were done centuries ago. The world is still wondering how come back in the day they were able to come up with something like this which has lasted for so many years, and then to where we are today, where we are wondering how come we couldn't really move on and develop beyond that. I mean, clearly we have not taken the decisions in the right direction for this industry.
And the society. So if you take Picasso, in any country, in any village, anyone in the world knows Picasso. He promoted himself not in a digital period.
There was no Facebook
There
to
was no
promote,
Facebook.
or
There was
he
nothing.
didn't have a Facebook page
No,
or Instagram
nothing,
account.
nothing. But he promoted himself. He did not have PR assistants or a PR agency to promote him.
Correct.
He did not use advertisements. He mainly focused on his creativity, and he was in the proper society, I believe. After that, if you take Sri Lankan art scene, how many artists have tapped the world? Who knows? Still, according to my research, I see only 3-4 artists have tapped the world. George Keith, Senaka Senanayaka, and recently passed away Mr. Lucky Senanayaka. Those are the globally renowned Sri Lankan artists. They have tapped the world. Still, international auctions give high value for their works. But after that, after 90s, still we do not have artists who have reached that level.
Do you believe the last 3 decades have kind of been like a lost decade for our art scene?
Yes. Because this scene has gone, art scene has gone into a different era. What I say today, the artists are not focused, mainly highly focused on their creative side.
Understood.
They try to promote themselves. They do a creation. They write up the writings. Either they go for paper articles. They write books about their creativity.
And then they think they are the next big thing.
They are the next big thing. But in the world art scene, there's something called art critique. It's a different subject. It's a different platform. There are writing people to write critiques, whether it is good or bad.
Like food critics, art critics.
Yes, it is there. So here it is messed up, I see. So that is where the visual art university should come in. You have to deviate these sectors and you have to educate. From the visual art university, not only art painters and sculptors should come out, art critic writing people should also come from. Art scholars should come from the visual art university.
Understood. Chathuranga, now you mentioned that some of our artists are too busy promoting themselves, but at the same time, if you don't promote also, then people will not know about you. Where do you draw the balance? In other words, let me rephrase my question. In the world of art, how does one really, what do they need to do to build their brand image? Not over promote, but build a proper brand equity. As you said, doing high quality work is one, because Picasso, Da Vinci, they became popular without any social media. But in this world of social media, how else can they build their brand image?
They can build their brand image in 2 aspects. Either you can have a good follow base, a fan base, or you can have top-end clients. To have a proper follow base, you don't need that much quality high-end artwork. You can utilize your social media skills and you can develop a follow base. To build up a proper customer base, then you need to be really skilled. So any artist has to focus about their imagination, creativity, and they have to upgrade themselves according to the world art scene. Lack of knowledge what is happening in the world is a big issue here. So promoting themselves, that is where the galleries are. Galleries are to be utilized. So what has happened, once an artist started focusing his creativity, focusing his social media platforms, digital platforms, marketing, promotion, going after buyers, finance.
So the focus on the art is gone.
Focus on the art is gone.
The problem is quite clear now.
Yes.
Chathuranga, on a final note, let's talk technology. We talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. We talk about digital art being traded via platforms and so on. What has been the impact of technology, or how do you see technology having an impact in the world of art, locally and globally?
Even globally, technology have impacted this art sector in 2 ways. One is there are a lot of technical and digital art medias have come to the scene, but it has not affected the traditional painting and sculpting fields. Suppose still there is a high value in any international auction for oil painting over common brush painting rather than a digital airbrush paint or stylus painting. So that value is there. But a lot of technical medias like animation, cartoon, graphic design, digital drawings, and all those things have adapted to the sector. And revenue generation wise, now there are a lot of digital platforms. For example, even we have created a digital platform, something like eBay, to promote Sri Lankan art. So there are likewise various digital platforms where you can sell your art. Even upcoming artists, they know they can register with any online free digital platform, and they can start promoting their work. That is there. And there are a lot of digital auction houses now happening in the world. Due to pandemic, now it has been developed. So art auctions, international art auctions now happen in this digital way. So that is also another benefit. So the major matter with our society is how strong we are utilizing these things, how strong we are applying it to our culture.
And recently there was a NFT auction as well, I
Yes.
believe. And I believe there were some very nice paintings, digital arts that got sold. Any comments on that? Do you see that having a good potential into the future?
Yes, there's a huge potential to the art scene in the future, because whole world, now the world is fed up with the traditional corporate fields and the structures. Now the world needs something new, something unique,
refreshing,
something aesthetic. So even in the European and the USA art thing, they were focusing a lot in performance art, mainly music, concerts and all. Now the concerts were blocked.
Somewhat
because
restricted,
of restricted,
but now it's making a comeback.
Yes. So in this past 1.5 years, people were focusing on these things, especially visual arts. So there's a huge potential. And country-wise, it is an industry. So we are developing the port city in one end, and we are inviting top-end foreign corporates to set up. Then, in the other hand, we have our aesthetic talents, and we have our creativity. So we just have to
link the two. Chathuranga, thank you so much for sharing your very valid thoughts. You are someone who is deeply involved, and we could see and sense from your words that you really feel for this industry, and we sincerely hope that you and the other artists and those who are involved, all the stakeholders from the government, private sector, will continue to build this art industry, because as you said, this could be our next sleeping giant, an industry with tremendous, gigantic potential to take Sri Lanka to the world, but we just need to take the proper action and showcase our talent to the world. Wish you good luck and all the best for your future endeavors, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well, if you are watching this and if you are a budding young artist, we sincerely hope the ideas shared today will help you to move on from just being an artist to being an entrepreneur, someone who could build a strong brand image for him or herself in the global stage of art. And would that not be a proud moment for all of us? And may you, in the upcoming week, paint a profitable week in your business field as well. I'm Tharindra Amarasekara, and I will see you with the next episode. Have a profitable week ahead.